Hello everyone. So today for this video I'm going to show you how to do basic drafting using AutoCAD. So what we should do first is that just click at the start drawing thumbnails over here and it will direct you to this interface. So as you see there are few tools up here where you can explore. We will explore this later on. So we have shapes, we have the modify setting, annotation. Annotation is like dimension, and you put text, and layer properties. I'm going to explain to you this afterwards. So let me go first to our very first step. So the very basic thing that you need to set before you do your project is to set on the unit. So to set the units, you just type the commands, okay, and then click at the units. So you have to make sure that the length is in decimal and precision is 0. We don't want any two figure at the back here. We just want a rounded figure of dimension. So you must make sure it's in millimeters because that is what basic units that we are using in Malaysia. So click OK. Right. So if you notice at the back there are grid lines. Okay, it will help you to make it easier for you to draft anything. Or if you don't want it, you can just type Ctrl G. Okay, so the grid lines, so for the grid lines you can type Ctrl G. So right, Ctrl G and Ctrl G again to on the grid line. So it's up to your preference. Okay, the third item is snap setting. So I will explain to you what is snap setting. So for example, if you want to draw anything, okay, let's say we use this line. So to make a line, you just type L. Please get used to using commands writing instead of using the interface, because that will be much faster. You can still use the interface, but after this you need to train yourself to use the commands. I will give you the commands in the CN, and you can try applying the commands throughout the process of learning. Okay, so for example, if I make a line over here and I want to make another line at the end of this one, if I try to make it just by an assumption, okay, if you notice this is almost accurate, so let's try make lines. Okay, from far it seems like it's connected, but if you zoom in, it's actually not connected. So how do you make sure that your line is accurately connected at any points that you want? So this is where the snap setting is for. Okay, so to have this snap setting, you can just type OSNAP. Alright, so for the beginnings, since you are having you are trying to get used to this interface, I just suggest you to just select all and then click OK. Right, so when you have that snap setting, let me just show you again. If I draw like this and I want to draw another line connecting to the end point of this line, right, so make another line, click. Okay, the first line is not connected, but if you see the second line, it's connected. Alright, even if you want to draw in the middle of this line, okay, you can just move your cursor along this line. If you see a rectangle, that means that's a midpoint. So that means that is the center point of this line. So it will help you. Alright, when you draw a line, for example, how do you make sure that this line is straight? Okay, so sometimes you're just trying so hard to make sure that the line is straight. So when you draw an AutoCAD drawing, you must make sure that this line is accurate. Sometimes if it's small, it's easy for you to determine whether it's straight or not. But if your line is very long, sometimes it might look like it's straight line, but if you look closely, it might not be straight. So to ensure that you are drawing a straight lines, you have to, okay, so this is you moving the lines freely. If you press F8, you can see that the lines is just moving perpendicularly like that. If you don't want a straight line, okay, if I draw like this, this is straight lines. If you don't want the straight lines setting, you just press F8 again. So you can make any shapes without even being constrained by the setting of F8. So if you want an accurate straight line, just use F8. If you want to have like a freedom line of different angles, you can just off the F8 function. So just remember this function. Next item is how to draw shapes. Okay, if you see at the ribbon bar over here, you can actually choose any shapes that you want. Alright, so we have rectangle. You can just draw like this, or you can just type command REC and space. Click and release your cursor, your mouse button, the left mouse button, and then you just click again, so it becomes a rectangle. But what if you want to draw rectangles with correct dimension? So if you want to insert a dimension, this is the command. So this is space. This is the space symbol. So every time I write like this, you should know that this is a space symbol. So this is a command. For example, I want X to be 400 and Y to be 200. So I type REC and then space, okay, and then click first and then type D space, and then X is 400 and Y is 200 space, okay, and then make sure you click once again. Alright, so this is, if I explode this one, let me check the dimension. If you double click, this is 400, and double click here, it's 200. So that is how you make a rectangle. Okay, let me adjust this one. So this is rectangle, space, and then click one time, space, and then just make sure to click space, and then click again. Okay, REC space, click, and then type D for dimension, space, and insert the dimension, space, Y dimension, space, okay, and then click at the position that you want. So it's like that. Okay, so the second shape is circle. So circle works as you type C, or you can just click over here, whichever that you think you comfortable with. So you type C space, and then you click, and then insert the radius, for example 2000 space. Okay. Alright, so no need to click, sorry. So the last one is space. Let us try to do it again. Okay, just following the command. C space, click, insert radius 2000 space, and it's done. Alright, okay, so that's all for the basic setting. I will show you in another video how to draw a door. So in that video I will show you how to trim and how to copy any shapes. So stay tuned.